So in this video, I'm going to show you all the tricks and tips you need to know to get the best from the tracking capabilities of your DJI Neo 2 and using either the phone or the controller. So as I said, the purpose of the video is to show you the tracking capabilities of the DJI Neo 2 and how to get the best out of the options you got in such a small drone. And this is due to an email I had from one of the subscribers who was asking how you actually did this, because he liked to film larger things like castles and he wasn't 100% sure how to go about it. So before I get started, if you could do the like, subscribe and the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, although using the controller and the app both give you similar tracking abilities, you are going to get more options on the controller, such as the ability to track larger objects such as castles, buildings, trees, this type of thing. Whereas if you're using the app, it's going to be more focused on you as the actual user. So I'm going to go through on all the options we got to control the drone, whether or not you're using the app, the controller, or gesture control. So a couple of things you need to bear in mind when you are using any form of the tracking. One is going to be the distance from you to the drone. So the further away, the better, because if you're traveling at a speed, then you don't want the drone to crash into you should you suddenly stop. The next is going to be the height of the drone, because you want the drone higher and looking down. So this is going to reduce any sort of exposure changes you may get if you've got too much sky in the shot as you're being tracked. Now, if you're using the mobile phone app to do the tracking, you are going to be a lot more limited than if you're using the actual controller. So you can see on the screen yourself that you've got the options for follow, spotlight, skiing follow, or cycling follow. So basically you've got the follow mode with 3 variations, or the spotlight mode for tracking you from one particular point. So as I said, with spotlight, the drone's going to remain in one place and it's just going to follow you wherever you go around. And to use that, it's just a matter of launching the drone when it's facing towards you, and as you move around, the drone is going to stay there and just track you. Now, when it comes to the proper follow mode, I would suggest that you put the gesture control on, because this means you're going to be able to control the drone without using the app, just by using your hands and position it exactly where you want to do. So to activate the gesture control, we need to go to settings on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, go to control, and then you can see that you can switch the gesture control on and off. Now with gesture control, it's just a matter of raising your palm up, and then as you move your palm around, the drone's going to follow you. So if you wanted to go up, you bring your hand up, down, left or right. And similarly, if you want the drone to move further away, you just put your arms apart, and if you want the drone to come closer, then you just bring your hands closer together, and then the drone's either going to move away from you or come back towards you. Now when you are using the app, you can see that you've got a number of options within the follow mode, and that's going to be the position of the drone, being front, back, left, right, or a combination of all 4. So you've got 8 different positions for the drone to be in. And then if you change direction through the tracking, the drone is going to then reposition itself based on those settings. So if you're walking forward and the drone's in front of you, and then you turn around and start to walk back, the drone is going to revolve around so it positions itself back in front of you. And also you can set the distance the drone is from you, being close, medium or far, as well as being low, flat or high. And obviously you can use gesture control to make slight subtle adjustments to that. So on the controller, you're going to be given 3 options, being active track, spotlight and point of interest. And they all work in the same way when it comes to actually tracking the subject. So the first thing you need to do is to launch the drone. Then you need to draw your finger across the subject, and that's going to give you a green square of the subject itself. And then you need to move the drone from left to right and keep doing that until that green square turns into a map icon, and that's going to give you a better subject lock on the actual subject that you intended to film. And it doesn't matter what the subject is, as long as you've got a lock on it, the drone's going to track it. So I'm going to select the tower there. So you can see now that the subject is going to be centered within the screen. Now, one tip I would give you is that when you do actually select your subject, is to move the drone slightly to the left or right, and that's going to give you a better GPS and subject lock. So if I click onto the top of this tower here, you can see that I've got a wide square around the top. Now, if I move the drone to the left or the right, you can see now that the marker has changed to a pin, and that means that's actually going to be the more central point for the image. So on the bottom, you've got 3 options, the middle one being spotlight, and that's going to be the one you're going to look at first. So with spotlight, wherever you move the drone is going to keep the subject in the center of the frame. So if I move the drone around, it's just going to keep track of the subject in the center. So just by pushing the right stick to the right or the left means that the drone is actually going to rotate in that direction around the subject. So this will allow you to do complex rotations around whatever it is you're filming. And again, even if you fly towards the subject or you raise the drone up, it's still going to keep it center in the frame. Also with the spotlight, as well as using it to actually keep the subject in the center of the frame, you can use it to keep the drone static and then have it follow you. So I'm in the center of the frame now, so I can just move around. And as I'm walking about, the drone is just keeping track of me wherever I go. So it's always keeping me in the center of the frame, and as the name suggests, as if I've got a spotlight on me. And this is exactly the same as you'd get if you're using it on the app itself. It's not just confined to the controller. And again, the same as the large version, if you want to use the controller to do an orbit, if you just push left or right on the drone, then the drone is just going to rotate around you, keeping you in the center of the frame. So this will give you a lot more control, because obviously you can decide on the speed that you want to go and the direction and the height that you want the drone to travel in as well. So this is the point where I stop for 2 minutes and say, if you are finding it useful, if you could do the like, subscribe and the notification bell, that would be great. There's also an option there for buy me a coffee if you'd like to do that, and that means then that I can come out and make more videos like this, as opposed to having to babysit the grandkids and watch endless reruns of How to Train Your Dragon. So the next mode you got is going to be the point of interest. Now, when it comes to doing the point of interest, you've got a couple of options once the drone is launched. It's going to show you on the screen that you've got arrows going to the left and the right, and that's the direction of travel for the drone. And then the further up the arrow, the faster the drone's going to be. So if you want a nice slow movement, you need to keep the yellow part down towards the middle. If you want the drone to go faster, then obviously you need to move it up to the furthest point of the arrow. And if you want to change direction, just move your finger across the arrows, and that's going to change the direction of the drone. So you can see that I've got the subject selected. So now I'm going to move the drone left and right to change it to the point that I've gone, just to get a better lock. But bear in mind, it's not always perfect. As you can see here, it's actually moved off the subject, so I need to reacquire the subject and then start again. So now you can see that I do have the subject center, and that's exactly the part that I want to film. And then to cancel that, you just need to press on the X and the small square, and that's going to cancel the tracking options that you've got on the drone, and then you can bring it back to yourself. And you don't have to use the active track on large subjects. You can just use yourself or any subject, tree, building, whatever you want to do, and the drone will then circle on that if you are using point of interest. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that you've got a dot inside a little square. Now, if you press that, that's going to give you the option to bring on what is known as the FocusTrack. And with FocusTrack, it means that the drone is actually going to lock on to subjects automatically, or give you the option to lock on to them by bringing up a little plus sign on the screen. So you can see now I've got that on the screen there for me. So if I press on the plus, the drone has automatically selected me, and then as I move about, the drone is going to follow me wherever I go. Now, when you select the focus tracks, it is going to give you a number of different options, being standard, skiing or cycling. And all this means is that the drone's follow mode is going to be optimized for that particular activity. So if you're, for example, doing the cycle mode, it's going to try and anticipate your moves in advance. If you do in skiing mode, it's going to go a lot higher to try and get a more wider field of view into the shots. If you want to know a lot more about the three modes, then there's a video up here that you can watch, and that covers those three modes in depth. So with the active track, the drone's actually going to follow you wherever you go, and it's going to keep that distance and height away from you at all times. So obviously, if I go around as I walk away, the drone now you can see is behind me, and as I walk, it's following me about. So you can change the location of the drone on the screen itself by pressing on the bottom left-hand corner, and then you can position the drone wherever you want it to go. So, for example, I've got it over to my right, so as I walk, the drone is going to stay on my right-hand side, and then I can press it, and the drone is going to move around me, and then it's going to move over to my left, but still it's going to keep me in the center of the frame. So now I put the drone in front of me, And as I walk away, it should come round and then start filming in front of me as well as I'm walking. Now those circles will tell the drone how near or how far it's to be from you when it is actually doing the tracking. And you can adjust these within the controller itself. So if you press the 3 dots on the top right, that's going to take you into the settings. And then from settings, you want to go into control and then scroll down to where it says FocusTrack settings. And then from here, you've got a number of different options depending on the type of tracking you're doing, whether or not you're following a person or a vehicle, or whether or not you're skiing, cycling, or just general walking about. And then you can see that you can set the inner radius and the outer radius. So this is going to be how close and how far away the drone is from you, and also set the minimum height and the maximum height. And again, that's going to be how far the drone is going to rise or descend depending on the settings you've got when you actually use the FocusTrack. Now this doesn't just apply to people, you can use it to go on to vehicles as well. So you can see now as I've flown over towards the road, it's actually brought up the plus signs over some vehicles, so that means I can track those just by pressing that, and it's going to automatically recognise that it's a car and track it automatically. Now as far as I know at the moment, it only applies to people and cars. I don't think it applies to pets or things like boats, so just bear that in mind when you are flying the drone. Okay, so that's the end of the video. If you did find it useful, if you could do the like and subscribe, that would be great. And there's also an option there for buying me a coffee if you'd like to help the channel out that way. If there's anything you'd like to see in relation to any of the drones, or you got any questions in relation to the DJI Neo, the Neo 2, the Mini 4 Pro, the Mini 5 Pro, the Hover X1 Pro or Pro Max, or any action cameras, also let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you out. So I'll catch you again in a few days' time. Thanks very much.